What quietly went away without anyone noticing? 3D TVs. Curved TVs. Interestingly, curved monitors are still a thing, and totally worth it in my opinion, but I couldn't care less to get a curved TV. The curve makes sense if you're next to it. It surrounds your face more, and turning your head means the screen stays the same distance from your eyes. The tiny curve on these TVs doesn't make sense. It's not doing anything but making the TV thicker and cost more. And it has a focal point directly in front of the curve. Great for a monitor, terrible when you have people milling around during a football party or something trying to see the TV from the kitchen. Actual toys in cereal boxes and Cracker Jack boxes. And contests where you could win just by checking the packaging instead of scanning a QR code and making an account on effingmountaindew.com. They've graduated from marketing campaigns to personal information aggregators. Yeah, the sticker thing, whatever it's called, is a joke. Blame Cracker Jack for doing it first. Switching to cheap toys, then to stickers or wet and stick tattoos. Buying a new game and having a thick chunky manual filled with game lore which you would read before playing and so heighten the anticipation of the game itself. I miss those so much. I remember my grandma buying me Halo 2 as a kid and then going to a furniture store, so I just followed her around, reading the manual while she looked at furniture. This is wholesome. The Halo 2 manual was genuinely the peak of this concept. Gave so much in-depth information that hyped you for the game without giving away spoilers or making you feel like you knew too much. Magnificent. Honestly, I think most gamers noticed this hard. Was so excited when I bought Stardew Valley for the PS4 and it came with a physical manual for my son to read. They even have the slots in the case, but it's always empty. I would avidly devour those in the car on my way home when my dad would buy or rent a Nintendo Classic game. That's another thing that went away, renting a video game. Well kids, we have the game for 1 week, you have 1 week to beat the game. Good times. Taco Bell used to have a Chihuahua as their mascot. Little dude just disappeared one day and anyone born after 2000 probably doesn't even know what I am talking about. I still have a stuffed toy version of that dog. He says the usual "Yo quiero Taco Bell" but then also quotes a very specific Taco Bell ad that cross-promoted a Godzilla movie. He says here "lizard lizard lizard." And I think I need a bigger box. You've just solved the mystery of why I always think here "lizard lizard lizard" whenever I see a lizard. It's just ingrained into my brain and I had never thought to look it up. Wow. I love shit like this. There should be a word for when this happens, like an unlocked memory mixed with nostalgia. I think that's called remembering. I had the one where the Chihuahua has a rose in its mouth and he says, "I think I'm in love." They should bring him back. Sobe. What the hell? This is the answer. I haven't seen Sobe in years now that I think about it. I remember I got a book of the worst foods, based on calorie/sugar/fat content, and the Sobe Pink was the #1 drink they said to stay away from. Enough sugar to kill a horse. That said, they were delicious. Oh damn, the pink one was my favorite. What was it called? Lizard Fuel or something? Edit, the exact one I always got was called Lizard Fuel and it was strawberry banana flavor. I think it was strawberry Doc Worry. That piña colada flavor was the best. You mean Liz Blizz. Ronald McDonald. Too many people are petrified of clowns. Also, McDonald's was under a lot of heat for how they market to kids. Childhood obesity and all. For sure. It worked on us as kids in the 70s. Some places had the big MCD characters out front. Hamburglar, etc., you could walk up and play under them. Ronnie would come to your school, teach you about crossing the street. You'd get a cup of that orange drink and a hamburger afterwards. Lol. He's such a clown. In the 70s the Crofts had shows like Lidsville and HR Puffinstuff on Saturday mornings. When me and my friends saw the McDonald's characters in the commercials, it seemed like every other restaurant would be boring as hell, and going to McDonald's would be as fun as watching Sigmund and the Sea Monster. There's a McDonald's not far from where I live that still has a Ronald McDonald statue sitting on a bench outside of the building. The net neutrality thingy. Most providers decided to adhere to net neutrality, understanding that new administrations can change the makeup of the FCC. Also, a bunch of states implemented their own, which complicates stuff if you want to not be neutral. Easier to just be neutral. There were also lawsuits that dragged out neutrality ending for year, blunting the speed of any change. It's amazing how Comcast was ready to sweep net neutrality nationwide a week after it passed, but they couldn't run a fiber line a block to my house. All the ISPs who wanted it just wanted easy money. Ownership. We used to pay money and then the thing actually belonged to us. Now everything is rented or leased. Everything is sold as a service. Music as a service. Movies as a service. Software as a service. Even printer ink as a service. We spend and in the end we hold nothing in our hands. Edit, you can also subscribe to clothes. Wear new clothes every month but never own them. You can also subscribe to cars. Clothes as a service, cars as a service. Our internet company wants me to subscribe to a Wi-Fi extender for $5 per month. After they turned down the Wi-Fi range available from my router thing. Joke's on them, the electronics store had Wi-Fi range extenders to buy for just $20. I refuse to use the internet company's router. I can buy my own and get something way better for way cheaper. Google+. There were dozens of us, dozens. Google+ was the only social media our school forgot to block on our laptops, so I used it a lot. RIP. Even they forgot it. Those red coupon dispensers that used to be inside grocery stores. I used to love running around and grabbing all the coupons as a kid, definitely spiced up the grocery store trips with mom. Grocery store clerks got tired of little kids throwing them on the floor. Stumble upon. I remember all my classmates and my mom used to use it years ago. Ah yes, back when you would actually get your amusing content directly from individual websites by navigating to them, instead of second-hand from like 4 giant link content aggregators. Stumble button brought me to some very interesting places, and I don't really know how I would go about finding stuff like that these days. Most websites anymore are for commercial purposes / promotion, i.e. stores, products, restaurants, services, etc., or they are discussion, using that word loosely, based, so content is mostly reposted snippets / discussion of other conversations. Edit, I am familiar with Reddit, thank you. My cousin from any family party he ever came to. He was the master of the quiet exit. He would show up, make sure he said hello to everyone, maybe carry a beer around, and then it was like where's Rich, every dang time. He passed away quietly last summer, R.I.P. Rich. McDonald's all-day breakfast menu. I will never forgive them. Yeah, those $2 sausage and cheese McMuffins were tasty and a decent deal. Murder hornets. It's one of those rare things that was actually dealt with. The Washington State Department of Agriculture did a great job. None were found in Washington State or BC in 2022. Yeah, they caught some, glued tiny transponders on them to follow them back to their nest. Destroy nest, repeat. I imagine the Department of Agriculture guy stumbling into the state capitol all scratched and bleeding like Charlie in Always Sunny after he bashed all those rats. Murder hornets were the 2010s version of quicksand. One day, we all knew, we were going to have to face it. I think people have noticed now, but at the time, nobody noticed it was happening. 24-hour stores. I live in a major city and we don't have a single 24-hour grocery store ever since the pandemic. That was basically the only thing that changed for me during the pandemic. I couldn't get groceries after work at midnight. Service clubs. For example, the Rotary, the Lions, the Shriners. Oh, they're still around. But a common complaint among them is they've got no members under 70 and no new members are lining up to get in. Edit, the number one question seems to be, what the hell are these, anyways? They're social clubs with the primary objective to be doing projects to better the community. They might raise money to build a new playground, a new hospital, for scholarships, stuff like that. They raise money for stuff. My local Kiwanis Club started a young professionals membership to encourage younger people to join. The problem was that we were all in new jobs in our low mid-20s and couldn't make the meetings on Thursdays at noon since we had to be at work. They tried to fix that by offering night meetings once per month, but then none of the old people would show up and anyone who did would rag on the young folks for not showing up to the Thursday noon meetings more often. They refused to change their ways in order to stay relevant. And then they were a bit hostile to anyone young who didn't behave in the exact way they wanted. I've seen this here in a college town as well. They want younger people, under 40, but anyone can attend, which is saying a lot, but they hold the meetings in the middle of a weekday when most people work. The college students have classes. The working people are at work. Only retirees can attend, but they kind of imply that they're not welcome, then they wonder why nobody shows up. I have a pretty lax workplace, but the idea of just dropping the middle of a Thursday to attend a social club is so alien to me. In my 20s, going to the doctor was practically impossible. The American chestnut tree. We sing chestnuts roasting over an open fire every year and yet never question why we have no chestnuts. All the chestnut trees are dead is why, you see. We noticed and we're working to get them back. Just taking a long time. That class for keyboard typing and stuff. Then all the kids were better at computer stuff than teachers. But now, these Zoomers with their Apple pads and cellular telephones don't know how to type, so it's coming back around. Mavis Beacon 2, the retypening. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for daily uploads. After you've done that, check out one of our other videos.